So hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am going to talk with you a little bit about what my October setup is, and I have a sassy assistant over here who has decided that she's not giving up her Sunday sleeping spot, so she's going to be laying over here. If you see the fuzzy, that's Mushy. Say hi, Mushy. She's just going to hang out with us for a little bit. So anyway, let me move this out of the way and talk a little bit about what I'm doing in October. If you watched my last video, you may have remembered I was having a little bit of a planner crisis, and so I have been in this A6 ring planner for the last, well, since March, and have had a few little dalliances with some other planners, but this is pretty much where I've been. And one of the things I've realized is that A6 size is a good size for me right now. And then last month, or towards the end of September, mid to late September, I went into this ring, personal size rings, and was thinking that I would probably be using this. And then, like I said, if you watch the last video, which I'll link up above, the Crazy Train video, you know that this didn't last very long, and I moved into a bullet journal, and then from there kind of just went a little squirrely and was in an A5 bullet journal for like 35 seconds, and then went into an A6 bullet journal. And as I was in the A6, getting myself acquainted, I thought, this is ridiculous. I have an A6 Hobonichi that I could use, and everything's already drawn out for me. I don't have to draw all the spreads. So why am I trying to make a Stalogy work when I have something that would be so much easier? So this is what I'm using for October. I have this Hobonichi set up to use. So let me just walk you through what I've got here. So this is a Foxy Fix, I think it's a Foxy Fix cover that I bought used, and I put a pin loop in because that was the only thing to me that kept it from being perfect, was the not having a pin loop. And this is the black cherry color leather, which I absolutely love, and it just seems to be getting better and softer the more I use it. So anyway, in here I have a weekly spring edition that I bought back in April on a whim, and then never did anything with it. So I've got that. I've got the English version of the Hobonichi, and then in the back here I have a notebook, also Hobonichi. So everything here is Hobonichi brand, simply because they have such a well thought out system. I just figured there was no point in trying to reinvent the wheel, like I said, using a Stalogy where I was drawing all this same stuff in. So let me zoom in a little bit here, see if I can get a little bit closer. Okay, so maybe that'll be easier for you to see, so we don't have to worry about the fuzzy over here who's napping. Let's see if I can move her a little bit out of the way. So, okay, so as I was saying, sorry about that, this is the Hobonichi English, and what I wanted to show you is that part of the reason why I thought this would be so much easier is one of the things that I love about these inserts, the DIY fish inserts, as you know, is that the dailies are essentially a replica of a Hobonichi style day. And I also like the grid size. So if you've seen the Hobonichi that's in Japanese, not the English, the grid size is small. It's like a 3.7 grid, and it's just too small for my handwriting. I can make it work. Most of the time I just ignore the grid, but it's always just been a little minor annoyance. Well, the nice thing about the fish inserts that I love so much is that they have a bigger grid. I also, of course, love this weekly horizontal view. It's kind of like the perfect mix of the Hobonichi weeks and the days. And so when I was thinking about moving into this, I was trying to figure out how I was going to replicate what I have in the ring setup that I love so much. So I just started playing earlier in the week, so I'm just going to use a couple September days as samples. I just started playing here and basically taking what I had in my rings and putting that in here just to see. So I back planned all of September over the course of a few days just to kind of test it out and see. And what I found was that it's pretty consistent and pretty, it's the same setup, so obviously it should work. So let's see, here's the 17th and 18th, just to show you. It's the same thing I did here. I just haven't put any highlights or anything like I did in the ring pages, but it's essentially the same. And it works just fine, right? So for the week, that was the thing I was trying to figure out. What am I going to do about the weekly view? So the first week that I actually used this actively was last week. And so what I did was on Sunday, I drew in this replica of the weekly view that I like. And I think this would work just fine. And I don't really have a whole lot to do on Sundays anyway, so that would be just fine. It's not taking that day away from me unless I want to journal. And so that's when I pulled this little guy out and decided that I would set this up just strictly for a week at a glance. I'm not putting any to-dos in here. All I'm doing is a week at a glance what we have going on so that I have a place to look ahead if I'm making plans, and I like this vertical view for that perspective so that I can make sure that I don't double book, because sometimes this view I don't get a visual of how much time something's taken up. So this I like. I'm putting over here things I need to remember that are not necessarily tasks, but like that I need to get my dog shots, that my daughter has a retreat registration that's due, big events that go across the top for multiple days, that kind of thing. So that's really what I'm going to use this weekly for, is just big long range planning stuff so I remember. And I don't think I'm going to do this moving forward because I want to use Sunday for journaling, just notes about the week, that kind of thing. So what I'm doing is the important to-dos at the top, schedule stuff, and then skipping a line and doing my bullet journaling, and then notes at the bottom. And then down here you can see I'm going to put dinner, and then what we watch on TV, because I like to keep track of that. So that's what I've been doing this week, and I really, really like it. No rings to worry about writing around. And I was telling my friend Lisa, this is probably the 4th or 5th version of the English that I've bought. I think I've been buying them since 2016. Started out trying to plan in it like this, but I think with the kids' schedules back then, it was just not enough space. I tried to use it one year as a strictly micro journaling, kept it on my nightstand, and that worked great until about March, and then I just kind of fell off the wagon, and then it felt weird to pick it back up mid-year and start journaling again, so I never really did it. So I feel like this is the right combination of what I was doing in my rings already, in the A6 size that I like, without the rings to be worried about. So I'm going to use this for the entire month of October, and I'll show you in just a second my October setup, with the intent of trying to finish the year out in this, just to see how I do, and potentially using this for next year. Well, not this book, but a 2020 version. And what I've essentially decided is that it will either be this or it will be this for next year, for planning, because the A6 size right now, where I'm at with my life, with fairly grown kids and pretty much only worrying about us, is that this works the best. So here's my October setup, and I just thought I'd walk you through what I'm doing and how I'm kind of adapting the Hobonichi to work for me. So this page that comes in the beginning of each month, I'm going to use as a currently page. So reading, listening to, watching, all that kind of stuff is going to go here. I haven't decided what prepositions I want to put here, or what things I want to track here, so that's why it's blank. But that's my plan for moving forward for October. In September, when I did the back planning, what I did was I just wrote down my tasks that were in my rings, my task pages, which I still want to do, but I also want to use this, as a place of records. I want to have the things that I'm, doing actively. So I added this cover page. This is from SM Plans. I printed it on Tomoe River paper, and on the back of it I put Cocoa Daisy note paper, and I just glued it in, and I'm going to use this for my October tasks because I decided this also will help me kind of be realistic. I shouldn't have more than this for the whole month anyway. It'll help me stay focused. So so yeah, you can see heart in my bullet journaling is, you know, things that make me happy. Here's dinner, you know, agenda, that kind of stuff. So that's my plan. Now for the weeks, instead of doing that, you know, takeover Sunday thing, I decided to tip in another Cocoa Daisy page because this allows me to use the Cocoa Daisy stuff that I love so much and I think it's so pretty, and have a subtle little bit of color in here without going overboard with stickers and washi and stuff like that, which is pretty, but it's very distracting to me. So on the front, I'm going to do my weekly to-dos. On the back, I'm going to do my meal planning, and I've just taped it in and folded it over. So as I'm in this week, as I flip through the days of the week, it'll stay there on the side and I can see it. And then when the week is over, I can tuck it in. Now, long term, like over the course of a year in a yearbook, I don't know if this will add too much bulk, but I'm sure I'll figure it out by the end of the calendar year in this book, and whether or not I need to do something different for next year or not. And that may be that I go to the avec, which would only be 6 months at a time, so I don't have that bulk. I don't know yet. I'm just going to play in here and use this kind of as a trial in a format that I know size-wise and layout-wise works, and try seeing how much I can get away with and how much that bulk bothers me or doesn't bother me. So I'm not doing a lot of decoration. I'm not even doing a lot of like highlights and things like that. Here's my month in a view. The only thing I've done is school, holidays, things like that I have put with the normal orange color that I use. Birthdays I did in purple. And then everything else, I'm just a plain black pen. This is a Cocoa Daisy pen, but I have a Uni Jetstream insert in here, and that's what I'm using. And I did back plan this for the whole year because I did want to be able to see, you know, things that happened because my husband did have heart surgery. You know, I wanted to have that kind of stuff in here. So I did go back and back plan the monthlies. I'm still debating on whether or not I want to back plan the rest of the year. I kind of want to, and I kind of don't because I don't want to do all that work, but I also think it'd be nice to have everything in one book and see how it feels at the end of the year. So I may do it, you know, just over time, a little bit at a time, when I'm watching TV at night or things like that. The other thing I did is this is the end of the monthly calendars, and you have 2 days before you start the dailies, and so I use this for like a calendex for the spring. So if you're not familiar, you get the first few months of the new year. So here's December, and I get through March to kind of do some pre-planning, and then I went ahead and did April, May, and June because I want to be able to have these things in front of me as I'm thinking about getting ready for my daughter's graduation. And then when I get my new Hobonichi, if that's the direction I go for next year, then I can transfer this stuff easily. The other thing I wanted to show you is in the front of the book, are these pages, and what I've decided to do here is use these for my trackers, because that was the other thing I was trying to figure out how I would slip in. If you remember, I have these trackers in the front of the month that I was using, sleep tracker, mood, medicine, that kind of stuff that I was tracking. So I didn't want to tip this in too, because that just continues to add bulk, right? So I was like, how can I use that? And I decided that I would use these pages because I haven't ever really used them before. So here's my sleep, you know, from 5 to 10 hours. This is my mood. I've been dealing with some cluster headaches, so I'm tracking the headaches here. And then like AC, that means that we changed the AC filter. So this next column I'll use for household things with some type of an abbreviation. And I don't know if or what I would use this last column for, but that's the plan. So this was for September, and you can see I have my color codes here. I've already started October and penciled in November as well. So this is what I'm planning to use these pages for. And there really isn't a whole lot of other, you know, there's the year at a glance here. And then in the very back, there's just some blank pages. which I didn't realize that the English had this many blank pages. There's, let's see, 2, 4, 12, 14 pages. So that's pretty cool. If I had realized that ahead of time, I would have probably set up some of my collections in here, like the books and TV shows and that kind of stuff for the year. So for next year, if I use in English, I'll probably do that. I'll make use of this, of things that I track by the year and put them in here just so that I'll have them. But right now, all of that is in this little notebook, and these are Cocoa Daisy die cuts that I glued in here. But you can see I've got this, some of this stuff is from 2 years ago when I started using this, trying to use an A6 then too. So this was 2020 books and movies, my mom's surgery, and then this is where I just picked up and started doing my 2021 stuff. So I think if I use an English next year, then I'll probably make use of these pages for that, and maybe not have to have the extra bulk of another notebook in here. Although, I mean, it's Tomoe River paper, it's not a whole lot of bulk. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing for October. This little guy is just perfect in terms of size. It's like one step down from my A6 rings. You can see, you know, a lot smaller, a lot less bulk, and, you know, width, because you don't have to worry about the rings. And yeah, that's my plan for October. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a couple of other things planned for you, one of which is a Hobonichi unboxing of what I've ordered in Hobonichi, potentially for 2021. Talk a little bit about what I'm thinking I'm going to use the different things for, and I have a couple other videos planned as well. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions, things you'd like to hear me talk about, please do let me know. I love hearing from you guys and appreciate all your comments and interaction. And I'll keep you posted on how the great A6 Hobonichi experiment goes for the month of October, and I'll give you some updates on that as the month moves on. Hope you guys all have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.